Hello everyone and welcome to another SuncatByte. This SuncatByte we will be covering, kind of doing a general overview of Program 2, which is the Mini Cooper Gold Bar or Metal Bar question. Let's see, and the question here was, do you prefer if I use a microphone or chat? Either way, if you have a question, just let me know. If you do it in chat, I'll repeat it. And if you want to jump on in the microphone, you can do that as well. All right. So first things first here, when we're looking at this program, I'm going to give you guys basically a general kind of outline on one way that you can program this solution. Now, this isn't going to be full code. There's going to be some things left out. It's going to be kind of like pseudocode. So it's going to give you an idea of how things should be structured for this program, what some of the things are that you're going to need to look at, but it's not going to be the full program, which we basically gave you for the first program, for program 1. So first things first, we're going to include these libraries in this case, IOStream for the input and output, string because I'm going to use strings, and CMath for some of the math functions that I'm using. I end up using CIL in this case. So first things first, we're always going to have a main function, and main is going to be like that. Okay, then inside of your program, you're going to want to have your course header here. Up top, you're also going to want to have your required comment here. Well, I'll just put it, right? It's name, file name, which is driver.cpp, and I think of the email. So here you're going to have your course header below with cout statements. I'm not actually going to do that, but I'm putting a comment here showing you that's what would be done in this case. Okay, so now I'm going to declare a bunch of variables and constants. So we're going to have one variable that's an integer. What am I doing here? Tab. There. Int Cooper type. Then I'm going to have double. In this case, we can make it a const double type 2 cargo. And that's going to be 24.0. This is from the spec. And I can do it this way, and const double type 4 cargo. It's going to be 32.8. And then I'm going to have the bar size based on a Fort Knox bar, which is going to be cubic inch. Do it this way. Okay. And then my metals. So here's what I use for the density of my metals. In your program, if you have, right here, also reference the website that you used to get these densities. All right, so we're also going to declare a string, which is going to be used for our ask again loop, and then we have a do while loop. And you can also do a while loop, right? So here's our do while, like that. There's our do. The while is going to be all the way down here, and it's going to be while answer equal yes. So remember, with the do while loop, it's going to execute at least once, right? So we didn't have to set that answer variable here because it's going to execute once. So as long as it gets set through the first run, we'll be okay. Key thing that you'll have here is you also have your goodbye statement there, and we'll have a return 0 there. Okay, if you look at this, here's kind of our general format. Now everything else is going to happen here in this do while loop. So first thing we're going to do is get the input from the user. And how we're going to do that, we're going to ask for the Cooper type. Like that. And I'm going to actually give you that in this case. So it would be this code. And then in my case, I had a couple other things. I had a metal type that I used and a metal name that were strings. And then I'm going to ask for the metal type here. Then I have how many bars. And I'm going to ask for how many bars here. Okay, and so there's going to be a cout statement, and then a cin or maybe a get line. If you're using cins and get lines together, remember that after you use your cin, you have your cins, you should be using cin.ignore. Okay, so after that's done, now you've read everything in, we're going to assign the density of the metal. And in my case, what I did is I defaulted to AL if it's an unknown type. Okay, and in order to do this, I used a series of if, else if statements. Okay, so once that's done, once that's done, we're going to assign our cargo capacity. Okay, and the way that I did that was here. Created this new variable called cargo. Am I getting an error message? Oh, because of that. So cargo here, I created cargo and I said if the Cooper type was 2, so up here when I read this in, I read in that Cooper type of an integer, then I'm going to say cargo equals type 2 cargo, which was defined up there. Okay, so I get my cargo type, and then I basically go through my calculations now. So here I'll find the cubic inches of cargo space, and I'll calculate that. And then here I'll calculate how much does the specified number of bars weigh, or do, I guess, how much do specified number of bars weigh here. And then I basically start going through my questions. So here I'll do question 1, then here I'll do question 2, and here I'll do question 3. And so you'll have some ifs inside of here. You'll have some cout statements, but the math and a little bit of math done here. But that's going to be your general format. Okay, that's it. And then right here before you exit, you always want to make sure that you do this. You got to ask them if they want to play again, right? So you say, do you want to do more getaways? And you always tell them what the options are. Yes, no. So you tell them exactly what it is that their options are. Okay, that's going to be the general format for this program. So that's basically going to be what I'm going to give you here. Any questions? I can make this smaller. Okay. Yep, go ahead. Andy?
Yeah, I was wondering, is it okay if we use the vectors for our densities and things like that?
Sure.
Density.
Yeah, it's not required. So, I mean, I used individual variables, but if you want to use a vector, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You got it.
So I was wondering if, like, for when we're getting input from the user,
Uh-huh.
it would be alright if we had a program, like, if the input was incorrect, like, ask them to enter it again or something. Like, if they didn't give one of the elements, ask them to give one of the 4 elements that they could choose.
Sure. Yeah, so that's just input verification. Yeah, that's fine. Also not required, but if you want to do that, then you can kind of go another extra step there and do that as well. Sure. Good questions. Any other questions? Yep, go for it.
Yeah, so I was curious. In the discussion boards, we had asked about the whole rounding up, rounding down thing because if you round up, it produces an overweight situation, like 12 pounds in some cases. Is there a reason why you're wanting it rounded up versus down?
Yeah, when we made these, basically when these things were, so the way that the programs work is different instructors write them, so I didn't even actually write this one. Different people teach them. So the original instructor who did this, instructor basically made the decision that they didn't want to lose that percentage, that part of that gold bar. Because if you just round down, then you lose whatever that part of the gold bar is. So they decided to round up and realize that, yeah, it's probably gonna be a little bit over the 1,800 pounds, but we want to account for that other bar. So since they made that decision, I just went ahead and said, okay, we'll stick with that, and basically told everybody for completeness sake, and so everybody's doing the same thing, that everyone just round up. And that, I mean, I could have gone the other way and said everybody round down, but just the way it's been done historically, we had to make a decision one way or another, right? So these are really, when it comes to programming, you're at the end of the day, you're really mimicking things that are happening in the real world, and you have to make decisions on which way to go. So in this case, that's just the way we decided to go. Could have easily gone the other way. I completely understand your guys' logic, but just for consistency's sake.
Okay. I had already written my code to round it down. Of course, I went back and after I saw your response, I went back and added the rounding up. Is it okay if I had to do both outputs? Actually, I had to do both outputs, and then I had to tell you exactly how much it's overweight by
Sure.
if you did the round up.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you have the way that I said, because that's going to be what I'm going to test. So,
right.
And if you have that extra information, then that's okay.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
You got it. Any other questions? I keep asking because I don't want to kill the recording until we're done with questions. So those are good questions. All right. Then I'm going to stop the recording.